Hello and welcome to the Cartoon Pad, everyone. Michael, how are you?
I'm fine, Bob, and how are you?
Doing good. Just got back from Vegas and LA. And Marty, how are you?
I am good. I was at the beach. I went to the beach down in South Florida, and things move slow down in South Florida. I see why people like to retire there. That humidity and the heat. It's good for your joints. Things don't hurt as much, and everything is slow, and it's sunny, and it's hot. You don't want to go anywhere. You just kind of lie out in the sun like a lizard. It's great. I love it.
I think the term is sultry.
Is it sultry?
Yes, it's sultry.
So,
I've spent.
I don't know about that. I would feel like there more of the people that were sultry were in Vegas with Bob.
Yes, Bob's got to tell us all about Vegas.
yeah, I was in Vegas. It was 100 degrees. I was poolside at the Venetian, where it's very evident that everyone has put on some extra weight during the pandemic.
That's where they invented the blinds.
Oh, good God.
That's where competitive eaters go to train.
Michael, I started the trip walking into the airport and immediately finding out my flight was canceled. And then the wheels on my luggage fell off and I had to pull a MacGyver with house keys, take the wheels off and rig something up for the rest of the trip.
I understand you used a couple of stale bagels for wheels.
You had to go with the Mini. They're the only ones that fit in the homes.
Oh, the tires from your Mini Cooper. Yeah,
yeah.
that would work.
No, but it was fun. I went out to all these different places to see museums. And each day I would walk about 5 to 10 miles in long pants and long sleeves, walking from one end of the strip to the Fremont Experience, stopping off at different places to eat, different things, gamble a little bit. And I was so sure I would lose weight because I was doing this for about a week where I was walking over 5 miles a day. And I weighed exactly when I started.
I'm telling you, it's that all-you-can-eat buffet. You got to stay away from those, mounds of.
Because you were eating all those poker chips.
Exactly.
The buffets are pretty much closed. It was just kind of going to eating. And you could go through a lot of money fast because all the restaurants in Vegas now are sort of high-end chef like driven, like they're all famous chefs and everything costs a fortune, where you could spend, well, some places was $100 and $200, $300 entrees.
What? Do you get to take the forks and knives home with you?
Well, this is the steakhouses. The steakhouses were very pricey, and the fish restaurants were very expensive. Yeah, there's other places in between, but you definitely could spend a fortune there. And I was trying to economize. I did a good job. And I also got in free at the museums. The museums were very, very friendly. They gave me private tours and they took care of my parking and transportation. So that was a big plus.
You got comped.
I got comped there, not on the tables, but at the museums where it counts. So it was very good.
And if you spend a lot of money, I've never been to Vegas. I've never been to like a gambling place. Is it like TV and movies where if you spend money at the tables, they're just like giving you free drinks and free this and free, they want you to sit there and gamble. So
yeah, you'll get free drinks. You get free drinks pretty quick. They're going to be small. I mean, the gambling in Vegas is the same as trying to get into cartooning. The parallels are amazing. I mean, it's the same type of gambling, except you don't get drinks in cartooning, right, Michael?
I wouldn't say that, Bob.
I'm sorry, you're already on.
It's BYOB.
Yes.
It's a bit BYOB.
Listeners can't see it. That's his second drink already.
It's a rhubarb sour, which describes me perfectly.
All right, you got a big hot guest in the waiting room. We don't want him to leave.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that in a second.
We're gonna get to that, Marty.
We're gonna get to that. 1 minute. I just want to say, just house cleaning a little bit. That woman, that writer, did go to jail. The one who killed her partner.
She wrote a book called like How to Kill Your Husband or something.
Yeah, it was something like that. So
and then
that's the lesson.
She wrote a book called How to Kill Your Husband, and then she shot up to the bestseller list. because she got arrested for killing her husband. And then she was found guilty. And now her books, I'm sure, are going to become a movie.
Yeah, but I saw that on Alfred Hitchcock. So she's not going to collect any money because once the Hitchcock people get a hold of her, it's all over.
Yeah. Well, they'll insist on inserting a Hitchcock cameo in the movie.
They will want a cut of the action.
I was just talking about books with a friend, and I was suggesting humorous books. I was explaining he wants to do a book maybe of his cartoons, and I told him maybe to talk to the good people at Humorous Books. That's where we did Elements of Stress.
Elements of Stress available now wherever books are sold, generally, but mostly if you just go to Amazon, you can get it pretty quick. Or
at the Humorist bookstore.
Humorist.shop has all the books. Also, the weekly humorist magazines are at humorist.shop. Also, funny T-shirts and weekly humorist hats, T-shirts, mugs, things like that.
You stopped selling a fedora.
Did you notice that I stopped selling a fedora?
They're sold out.
Yeah, they might be sold out. If they're not in the store anymore, that's because whoever we sourced it from maybe ran out of them, and I think it automatically.
I read about the fedora shortage.
You know what? The supply chain hurts everybody, and for some people who are really hurting right now for fedoras.
No, Michael's right. I've seen less babies wearing fedoras.
That's right. Yeah. Now, wait, I have a bit of housekeeping too. So during this podcast, I am going to be consuming a mung bean durian cake. As you remember, we previously discussed.
Nice callback.
Yes.
Nice callback, Michael.
So, I don't listen to the show, but I'm sure that you did something with mung beans. I've had some mung bean pasta that they sell at the Whole Foods. Very good. Gluten-free.
Michael, I want to hear a full report. I'm waiting to hear. I should mention too, the guy who called, my friend, is PC Vey. Peter Vey.
I know that guy. That PC Vey is famous.
Yeah, he's not so PC either.
Well, Michael, what did you do to him? We were talking about you. Jeez, what happened to you guys?
He's touchy, He
All right,
says oy vey. I say oy vey too much to him.
Well, we'll bring him on the show and you guys could work things out.
So I'm going to take a
You're saying oy vey to PC Vey as a joke?
Yeah, exactly. It's not very PC of me. So anyway, this is a mung bean durian cake.
Oh, this is that smelly fruit you're talking about. Okay.
So I'm going to take a bite of it right now.
Okay.
And I'll just give you a description.
If everyone listening on this podcast can turn on the app feature called Smell-O-Vision that we've added, you can smell it. Not everyone has it. It's a new.
Wait, you got a report. Ugh, Michael, jeez.
It's not bad.
You should eat with your mouth closed, though.
It tastes like you said, a
garlic
onion custard.
Why would you eat that?
Who knows why?
Is it supposed to be covered with something like a sauce or
a tarp
food?
It's a bun.
Oh, it's a bun.
It's a bun. It's not bad. It's very mild.
Our next guest is a cartoonist, illustrator, and bookmaker. His work has appeared in The New Yorker, Airmail, Narrative, Reader's Digest, The Weekly Humorist, and
Accounting Today,
and The Funny Times. He has a new children's book coming out next year with Penguin. And I made an attempt at a joke. The big publisher, not the flightless bird.
Try again.
Welcome, Dan Misdea.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been
so exciting to meet you, Dan, face to face. You've been just an email for such a long time, and I've been such a fan of your work.
It's been like 2 years.
I know, and you've made it to the big time. You started with the small time, and now you're you're killing it. Now you're in the New Yorker. Now you got
now you're back to the bottom. You're on our podcast.
You are it's an up and down career.
And this is your first podcast. This is like the first one, right?
This is it. This is my debut, I guess.
So what have you been dying to tell the world up until now?
I'm not dying to tell the world anything. I don't think. You gotta pull it out. You gotta pull it out of me. I can't just.
Okay, I have a question, Dan. Should I be heavily leveraged in credit default swaps at this moment?
Sounds like a bad idea.
Okay. What about naked credit default swaps?
I don't think I know what those are, to be honest.
Oh, I wanted to see some. So sound kind of exciting to me.
Well, we need to set this up that Sam Gross is the only ever cartoonist who started as an accountant, and you're in good company.
I think I knew that. Yeah.
Well, now we're talking about accounting. This was an accounting joke.
Do you need accounting skills?
I don't use context.
What was that?
I was saying, do you need accounting skills as a cartoonist?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I want to clear something up. Wait, Bob, you're off track again.
Okay.
You're not an accountant. You're a financial advisor.
No. I went to school for economics, and my first job was an accounting job at Prudential, which is an insurance company, but it was for their asset management wing. Very exciting stuff.
So did you ever get your CPA?
No.
Oh, well, no wonder you went into cartooning.
You're right. I kind of I was in accounting. I worked in real estate. I did a little bit it was mostly like back middle office jobs supporting finance, really. I just put accounting out there because it's easy. I'm not going to put that in my bio. I'd say all that stuff. So, yeah.
No, but I read your LinkedIn. I wanted to ask you about my 401k. I mean, I'm pretty risk averse.
That's smart though for someone who is going into like a freelance business to have a background in money matters, because I went to art school and we had like a half a semester that was like the business of illustration, and it was like the only education that anybody in my major got for anything with taxes or accounting or business expenses, like any of that stuff. It was like 3 weeks. The rest of it was just like paint pictures. And then in the real world, you actually have to do stuff where you actually have to do accounting and expenses and reports and all this crap. And like people are very unprepared for that, especially artists who are famously disorganized people.
Well, you're wrong. You don't need those skills if you don't sell anything.
I didn't say I was a good accountant. I'm terribly disorganized. I mean, it did help me, get more organized, especially as a freelancer. And I think it kind of having that background in finance and accounting, it made being a cartoonist seem like even a worse of an idea. Like understanding the financial reality of it kind of held me back up until now. Now, I'm just
Dan, I have some advice for you.
Doing it.
Do you know how to make a small fortune in cartooning?
A very small fortune.
Yeah, no, start out with a large one.
Start out with a large one.
Yes.
Good joke, Dan. Work with us.
I know. I guess I was.
Let me try this again.
Yeah,
take two. The way to make a small fortune in cartooning is to start out with a large fortune.
Right.
It does help.
Thank you.
It does help.
I do find having a knowledge in accounting and money matters is more important than knowing anything else, because most of my clients are cartoons for banks and places like that, financial places. And if it wasn't for those people, I would not be doing cartooning now at all. I mean, most of my cartoons are oriented to money or something in that field.
Mm-hmm.
Well, give us a good cartoon, accounting cartoon. So you did a cartoon in accounting today. What would a typical accounting cartoon consist of?
I think that one, the one that I did recently was, it was like two kids playing, and I think it was around Mother's Day, and the one child says to her sibling, "Mom said I'm her favorite dependent."
Oh,
like just a very
solid.
Funny. I'm not
That's
proud
good.
of it. But you know what?
That's pretty good.
That's a good joke. That's a great cartoon.
Here's the last cartoon I did for accounting. Two kids are on the street, and the one kid's looking on his iPhone and says, "Some bully just Venmo'd my lunch money."
Oh, pretty good.
Well,
Can someone Venmo your money away from you, though?
You're gonna have to suspend some logic, Marty.
Don't overthink.
That's not how the app works. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
the bully could hack your Venmo and take your money.
Okay.
Boy,
The bully
Marty's
could fish. You got fished. Maybe a bully fished your money.
always the editor.
That could
Always the
Yeah,
editor.
you can't take off the editor hat.
It doesn't work.
We're
Okay.
on the air, Marty.
That joke doesn't work. And we can workshop that later, Bob.
Okay.
All right. So Dan, you did have this background. Did you go to art school though as well? Did you get some training?
Not really. I did like some SVA classes, while I was working full time to kind of, I kind of lost the bug of drawing, once I graduated high school, and that itch kind of came back when I was, in my professional career. So, I took a few illustration classes, like design, just trying to spark something, through those SVA classes. And that's really my only formal training.
What years did you go? Because I taught at SVA through the 90s. I'm wondering if you were in one of my classes. I taught from the 1990s up until 2005.
Okay. I mean, I took classes like 5 years ago.
Okay.
He's much younger than you, Bob.
Yeah, Bob, you think he might? You think he might?
I was in 8th grade.
You think he might remember you?
Yeah, Dan, we can replace you right now.
So wait, Dan, didn't you take any electives at Penn State to get through that classic core curriculum of a liberal arts education?
No, I was lost there. I was very just focused on trying to get a job in the finance world, which I was struggling with.
That sounds lost. Most parents would like,
yeah, but like I knew it wasn't.
Feet.
I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do. I felt like I was just taking the safe route for sure. And I was also playing like club baseball, so I was very distracted from art, until later in life.
So what was your position in baseball?
I played mostly the bench, but second base, shortstop. That was
second base. That's what I always played second base. That was
Good
like
glove.
Little League.
Good glove, light stick.
Yeah, our listeners can't see. Dan's wearing a glove right now.
I'm wearing my Cardinal hat.
So Dan, did you have a moment though that you felt, yeah, you know what, I'm going to give this a try?
I guess to give some more context around it. I mean, I loved cartooning since I was a kid, like most cartoonists, and I was really just inspired. I was lucky because my uncle is a cartoonist. He does Mutts, Patrick McDonald.
Yes, one of the great. I have to say, one of the great comic strips out there.
Yep.
In the great.
Yeah.
And your uncle's very nice too.
Yeah,
he's a very nice guy.
Yeah, he really is.
I had no idea that you were related to another famous cartoonist out there today.
Yes,
and that's so much fun. It's more interesting that you were in college going the safe route with a career in boring accounting.
I know.
Yet you had this family connection that was like, come play and be creative and have fun with your life. And you're like, no, I want to add numbers. And then you didn't, and you went and had fun with drawing. That's great.
Yes. Yeah. So I always thought I was going to be a cartoonist. And I remember I was really little. So I was like 8 or 9. My uncle invited me to the Rubens. I'm sure, you guys know what the Rubens are.
Sure. It's a delicious sandwich.
I love it.
And he was being honored as the most outstanding cartoonist. He won the Reuben Award. And I remember, like, I was really shy as a kid. And I was sitting at a table. All these cartoonists were around me. I had a notebook, and they were drawing with me, and like, it was just such a unforgettable experience. I mean, that's really my only vivid memory from being that young.
Mort Walker bought you a highball. Your first highball.
I mean, Mort Walker. It's funny. My mom recently found the notebook from that day, and my Mort Walker. He drew like Beetle Bailey and put his signature in there and everything. And it's like I was flipping through it recently.
There you go.
It brought back. It was very nostalgic. Brought back a lot of memories. And yeah, so I guess as I got older, I didn't think I was good enough to be a cartoonist. Big shoes to fill, I guess, with my uncle. I was focused on like sports and stuff, and I worried what my friends would think about me, just like immature things. And how am I gonna make any money? And to a point, like I still have those thoughts, but I ignore them because this is what I love to do. And I'm gonna do what I can to keep this train going. So yeah, I mean, 5 years in the corporate world can kind of bring the artist out of anybody, and I'm glad it did when it did, because I mean I don't have any regrets. I don't regret not going to art school. Who knows, I may have given up when I was 21, 22, getting rejected by the New Yorker.
Oh yeah, a ton. I mean, so many of the art student kids immediately leave art when they graduate college and they get a job doing something not art related at all. That's why college is so weird, in that the timing of it is most people aren't ready to make those choices until a little bit further down.
Yeah.
It was clear to you what you wanted to do so that you could take focused courses at SVA when you really knew what you wanted to do. And that's good. And like, I wish that I had more perspective. Like, I went to Syracuse, I did VPA, I did art. I had a great time. I lucked out and you kind of stumble into the way that into the world you want. But a lot of it's just like it's a crapshoot. And then you get, spit out in 4 years and you kind of have to figure it out. And then people go back to school, and then you can be more focused that second time around, because you're like, now I know what I want to do. I'm not just like awkwardly growing up and I'm 18, 19 years old, and so many other things going on in your world when you're 18 and 19 years old. And then maybe you get those things sorted out, and then you can go and think, what do I want to do with my life? And then go back and I feel like people are always like, I'm always learning. Like, I'm always finding new things that I'm like, man, I wish I had studied this and that also in college, but like, there wasn't enough time, there's never enough time to read all the books you want to read. So like, I'm still always, I'm buying way too many For Dummies books these days, but I'm still getting them. And I'm kind of like, screenwriting for dummies, NFTs for dummies, crypto for, you kind of keep going.
Yeah.
Your style is very good, and I like it very much. And when did you come up with that specific look that you'd have for your cartoons? Because your cartoons, very specific. I love your style. It's very consistent, and it's very yours. So when did that happen? Is that reminiscent of your doodles as a child, or did that completely come out after?
I think so. I mean, I think it's, having my uncle around. He has such a distinct style, and he I remember him kind of, emphasizing like, you need to have this recognizable, unique style in what you do. And I kind of embraced that as a kid. And it definitely has changed, obviously, over decades and even the past few years. But I guess I always understood its importance, and just tried to generate something that was like me on paper, I guess.
And are you paper pencil? Because it looks like paper pencil, but have you gone digital?
I'm digital, yeah.
But it looks paper pencil.
That's the goal, I guess, right?
That looks great, yeah.
Well, Dan, I don't want you to take this the wrong way. And if you're uncomfortable answering this question or it triggers you, I understand. But some of your drawings remind me of Bob's.
Ooh, is that an insult?
Especially when you draw mobsters.
Mobsters.
Yeah, you're Bob. If you go get a mobster cartoon, show it to him.
I know, I've seen Bob's Mobsters. Yeah, I can see it.
You guys draw. I've never drawn a mobster. Maybe it's an East Coast.
You're talking Bob Mankoff or me?
You, sir.
I don't see a comparison. Dan, I love your style,
but
I think it's really nice. I like your cartoons, and I don't think I think they're funny. I don't think they're anything like mine.
Except
I just like.
ours are
I
so
think that
fun.
your penmanship, like your quality of drawing, is very good. I like the composition of your work is very good.
Thank
it's,
you.
it's
Yeah.
nice and tidy. But I have a question. I don't get this somewhere in Queens with all these dogs chasing Mr. Met. I'm just not getting that.
Because they're chasing a ball.
They're chasing the
Yeah,
ball.
yeah, dogs are chasing a ball. That's really it.
Mr.
Yeah.
Met is a human ball. Man.
Any excuse to get Mr. Met published in the New Yorker, I mean, I'm gonna take that
Now
every
I
day.
get it. I thought, I don't know what I thought, clever. It went over me. So few things do. Well, maybe too many.
Tell us
things do,
about
and I
the
just
book
don't know
coming
it.
out. What's the book coming out, Dan?
Next August. It's called The Light Inside. It's a children's book that's, it's 95% wordless, and it's like a graphic novel for ages. I think they have it as 0 to 8 right now, and it's coming out with Penguin just in time for Halloween, because it's Halloween themed. It's it's about a jack-o'-lantern who chases a black cat into the woods, and he has this fear of the dark, and he kind of finds his light, his courage, while he's out there trying to
His light. He's a
accomplish what he's trying to-
jack-o'-lantern. I like it.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Does he
So-
have legs?
He does have legs. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he just
I'm
doesn't
curious to
roll.
see this walking jack-o'-lantern man. Does he have a body?
Has a body. Just a pumpkin head, really. That's
So
what
it's a
that's
pumpkin.
all.
So it's a pumpkin head with like a human body.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
yeah, sure.
Isn't it like Sleepy? That's like Sleepy Hollow, isn't it?
Yeah, why not?
It's Ichabod Crane.
I'm thinking more it's top heavy though. I'm thinking more it's more head than it is.
Oh yeah, a
legs.
lot of head. Yeah, it's not heavy. Yeah.
Not only that, but after a few days, he's gonna like start smushing down and stinking.
Oh yeah, does it
know.
rot by the end of it? Is he like,
Well,
"Rrr"?
we don't have to go there.
That could be the sequel. It's like after Halloween, and
Right.
he's like, that's
It's
Yes,
the
the
circle
next-
of
that's the next-
life.
Dan,
Right.
everyone listening has a book in them. Everybody wants to put out a book. What was your path to get your book out there? How did you did you use an agent? Did you solicit the idea yourself? Can you share some of that with people who are thinking now, oh, I want to do a jack-o'-lantern book?
Sure. So I did a rough draft of the entire book first, and then sent it to a bunch of agents with like a cover letter, very tidy, professional. And I also gave it to my uncle. I'm not gonna be shy. I did use him to give to his agent, who passed on it, but he gave it to other agents, and one of them took it. And I went with her, and then she's great, Jennifer Carlson. She sent it out to publishers, and after a lot of rejections, Penguin eventually took it.
Congratulations. That's great.
Thank you.
And how do you find a new relationship now? All of a sudden, you're working with an editor. They're looking over the manuscript and stuff. And all of a sudden, you're now on a team. Team Dan. I mean, you have people who are really doing different parts of this project. And how's that feeling to all of a sudden not be working alone, doing cartoons in a room by yourself?
Yeah, no, it's been great. My editor's been awesome. She likes the book a lot. I was lucky because there was very little change to the actual story. And, 3 years, it's really going to take 3 years to get published, but everything's moved like really smoothly, and everyone's been really nice. Yeah, it's been going well.
Do you storyboard something like that when you send it in, or do you like a word only synopsis, or how did you present it?
Yeah, since so I didn't realize it was going to be a wordless, almost like long form comic until I started writing it, and I was like thumbnailing and realized, oh, I don't really need any dialogue in this. And I pretty much just finished the whole thing. It was almost, it's almost storyboarded already. So
Right.
I was kind of in a unique situation where I just kind of gave my drawings to them, without a manuscript or anything.
How finished were they?
Rough. I finished 2 pages, and there were some clean roughs, but the rest was pretty sketchy. And but they got the idea, and I guess that's really all that matters.
Yeah, that's great.
Dan, did you have a discussion of what age group this book was going to be for? Was there a strategy, or how did you determine really what type of form it would be?
I mean, I didn't really have like an audience in mind when I was going to write it. I just wanted to make a good story, and they pretty much took the reins on that and said, "Oh yeah, this will be good for this age group." And I think it's 0 to 8. I have to double check on that.
You say 0 to 8?
Yeah, 0 to 0. I'm pretty sure it was 0 to 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really do keep yourself out of those discussions.
That book can be read in utero, so since there's no words.
Picture books are great, picture books. You don't need that many words.
We didn't trash picture books.
People are going to insert kind of their own words to tell the kid what's going on, to describe the images anyway.
Sure. Yeah.
They're going to be like, Pumpkinhead is looking for his light, and now he's going to go into the woods. Next page.
Pumpkinhead did not finish his strained peas. Now he's in the woods in the dark. Don't let that happen
And
to you.
in 2 years, we're going to see Pumpkinhead is going to be the #1 kid show on the Netflix or the Hulu or the Noggin or whatever it is. And they're going to adapt it into all kinds of holiday Pumpkinhead stuff.
I think Spielberg will pick
Christmas,
it up.
New Year's Pumpkinhead. Yes, it's going to be great.
You're going to start first by going to libraries and schools and reading the book. And I have to tell you, my experience in children's book was I couldn't do that. I just didn't want to go to schools and deal with that. Are you prepared?
Bob's just like, my problem with children's book is I don't like the children.
Yes. But he's done a book about cats and he hates cats. So where's the problem? I don't get it.
Come on, Michael. That does come on. But Dan, really, do you realize you'll be doing the tour?
Yeah.
Are you a kids guy? Are you ready for this? Are you gonna be doing a costume, or because we can design a costume for you?
No, honestly, I don't know if I'm prepared or not. I mean, I'm good with kids. I think I got 2 future nieces, and they're great, and I get along with them. So I guess I'm prepared. The wordless part worries me.
Yeah, Dan, I can see you doing a reading. Here's Dan doing a reading.
You have a great bit for podcasting, Michael.
Holds it up.
Please,
fine.
I'm doing a reading. Stop interrupting me.
Yeah.
But
maybe if I could somehow animate it, some of the panels, maybe that will work, but I don't know.
But Dan, you really got to know your audience. Maybe it would help if you adopted some kids or had some kids on loan. You just be surrounded by kids, because then you would get to know.
Or just get pets, whatever.
Yes. Or I think talking to us is giving you a little insight into the juvenile mind.
Some cats. He'd be fine. Is it full color? Big paintings?
It's a combination. It's like black and white with pops of color.
Nice.
How many pages are we talking?
27.
27. Well,
27.
Yeah.
Well, these kids.
Yeah.
They're actually gonna touch it and try to make things move. I can already tell you.
I've seen that. I've seen the kids trying to flip like a magazine page, and they tried to tablet move it around, and they're like, "What is this? What's wrong with the tablet screen? Is it broken?" It's flipping.
Well, it'll make a great Kindle if you can make it interactive. That would be cool.
Yeah, I guess so.
We're selling it.
It's gonna be cool just being a book, guys. Come on.
Hey, we're just spitballing here, Marty. Come on.
When did you get your first New Yorker publication?
I think June of last year. Yeah, around this time.
And then once you broke through, how long did you submit before you got in? And then how long until you got in, like, for the second time?
I submitted. I submitted for about a year, and then Emma invited me to submit weekly. And then after a couple submissions, they took one. I'm sorry, you asked when did they take another one?
Well, sometimes people get in, and then it takes them forever to get in that second time. So, I mean, Bob got in his first submission he ever did. He got in like no problem, and then it took him how long for the second one, Bob?
He's still waiting.
Still waiting. It's been about 20 years.
No, it took you like less than that.
It took between a half a year and a year before I sold my second cartoon.
Yeah, there's always that initial rush and then crickets.
But it's so much different and difficult now, because back then I took all my rejects and there's all these other markets. I just go down the street to Barron's, Harvard Business Review, and Mad Magazine.
And Playboy. And Hustler, like you.
What was Barron's like?
Barron's could be great. I mean, Barron's was my main client. I remember early on I was doing the cartoons, and I all of a sudden had these rejects from the New Yorker after, the first initial sale, and they were so nice at Barron's. I remember one phone call. The woman said, "Are you sitting down?" And I said, "Yeah. What's up?" She goes, "There's one cartoon from your batch. That's the cartoon we don't want to buy." And she bought the rest of the batch. She would buy big chunks of batches, and it was good money. And it was, I didn't know any different. And I was able to make a living from cartooning, which is right now that I could never even fathom doing cartooning for a living. It's out of the question. I've gone backwards in every way.
Bob, you're living in a cabin in Pennsylvania. You can still be a cartoonist full time. Come on,
it's true.
Sell the Lexus.
I mean, it's gone for me backwards to, doing the cartoons on a regular basis to now going into therapy.
Yes, I have to say, Harvard Business Review was a great buyer of cartoons too, and they really enjoyed getting cartoons, and then it just stopped.
Yeah, how much did they pay? Was it like, I'm trying to think, it was like $700 or $800?
Yeah, it was like $725 a cartoon. I go like, holy crap, let's keep this going.
You sell a couple of cartoons to them, to Barron's one week,
and you're eating steak,
and all of a sudden everything seems logical that you walked away from that medical degree that I walked away from. It just seems.
Those magazines still. I found my old, when I graduated Syracuse, I had like a whole like notebook, and it had all the art directors for all the magazines in it. And at the time, they were, they all bought art of some sort. It was illustration or cartoons. But one of the main magazines that always bought stuff that people were always like, "Oh, you need to try to sell," is a lot of the publications for travel, like the Amtrak magazine and the Delta magazine, like
Departures.
Departures, like all the branded, but like they would always have to print these magazines because they sold so much advertising in the magazines, and they put them in all the places for the passengers to read.
Yeah.
So they were a captive audience. Do those places still buy cartoons?
No, I used to work.
We should try to get those places because they still publish those magazines.
Yeah, Bob is still submitting to Sky Mall.
Yeah, there's no more magazine. I used to work for Sky, which was Delta. I was hired to redesign their magazine. I did the icons and the design work for their chapters, and it was a huge gig. And that magazine is not even there anymore at all.
Thanks to Bob.
Thanks to me. I'm now in group 81, now boarding, and I'm just like in the back, and there's nothing happening.
I think we're depressing Dan now.
He's excited about his new career.
Yeah, Dan's doing great.
There's some markets out there. If they're out there, like it's so much fun, and it's kind of addicting,
So when you got in the accounting, you got into an accounting magazine. What made
Yeah.
did you just submit them randomly? You just looked up a magazine and sent your stuff in, or was that a referral, or did you see their
Yeah,
magazine publish cartoons?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Gag Recap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have like this guy Van Scott. He's great. He has this, I guess, monthly newsletter that
Yeah.
has like all the markets that you could submit to. And I saw that there was an accounting magazine taking cartoons. They paid fine, comparatively, and I just sent a few to them, and they took them right away. And yeah, that's kind of what I did. That I was just kind of scouring for places to submit cartoons.
That Gag Recap, it's amazing that they cover every single cartoon that's published everywhere. And it's
Yeah,
like, whose cartoon was it? What was it? Where was it? When was it? And I saw it once because they were covering Weekly Humorist. And I was like, oh my God, they cover every single cartoon that I put in. Like that's mind blowing. That's so much. It's so much time. It's so organized.
When I stumbled upon it, like it was just through a Google search. And I was just going through the pages, and the site wasn't updated since like 2015. I didn't even know if it was real. I just like shot the guy an email. He's like, yeah, it's still working. And I gave him $7. I'm like, if he just took my money, no big deal. But we'll see if anything comes of this. And it's been great. I would definitely recommend it to anyone who wants to.
Quite a niche market there, but he definitely provides a service. So that's the Gag Recap. Is that gagrecap.com?
No, it's not. It's Gag Recap. We could post the contact information. I know the guy.
I think it's sent by fax.
No, but it's an email.
It also felt like this big secret that I feel like I may have just spilled. I don't know.
You did,
right?
Yeah, you're in trouble.
Oh, I've seen it before.
Dan,
no one's
going to
listen. No one's
Dan?
gonna listen to this.
Dan, when you see my cartoon in Accounting Today, you're gonna feel burnt.
Yeah,
everyone's going to be submitting now to Cat Fancy, and you just flooded those markets.
I do have an accounting cartoon that I've never sold, so it's going there.
Dan, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, I don't know. Hopefully still with the New Yorker. The only thing I could say is, I plan on, submitting to New Yorker as long as possible. Hopefully I publish more books. I don't really know. I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years, but hopefully it's cartooning. So
have you done the airmail? That's very good.
Yeah. I've done airmail a few times.
People like the airmail. It's classy.
Is it the intro, Marty?
Feel.
If you listen to the intro, we mentioned it.
I don't listen. These headphones are actually, I'm listening to Sirius XM radio 80s at 8. So I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
It's just a prop. That's a shame.
It's gagrecap.com. It is, I'm correct. Van Scott, and people should go there. And you're welcome, Van Scott. I'm giving them a free plug on the podcast. It's fine. It's a cartoon pad. We're supposed to talk about cartoons.
Yes, and I just subscribed to Airmail because I saw if I have an EDU, a educational account, I can get a free subscription. So I'm in.
Oh, good for you, Michael.
Yeah.
You scored a big one.
True?
Yes.
I'm using I think I still have my syr.edu whatever.
Try it.
Email
I don't know what I don't know if it's edited content because everything so far has been about like
college.
Taking care of your pets and eating a good breakfast. So we'll have to see.
That's your wheelhouse, Michael.
I know. I thought it'd be about croissants and smoking jetons. So,
Dan, are you on the cartoon? Is it the cartoon stock that is no longer Cartoon Collections? Cartoon stock?
Yes.
Yep.
And are you selling the products and the T-shirts and the mugs and stuff there? Or are you doing your own stuff where you're selling your own cartoons on prints and mugs and stuff?
It's really only cartoon stock where I get any licensing stuff from.
Okay.
And it's pennies. It's really nothing. Yeah.
I've noticed a lot more cartoonists just doing it on their own. And they're just like, I'm making a bunch of mugs and T-shirts, and then
We're having
we
an
buy them on Instagram.
Marty,
Yeah.
we're having an upcoming episode on that, and Bob's doing the research.
About what?
I didn't know.
Instagram?
I didn't know
About-
that.
Yes, you did, about how to create your own financial infrastructure for marketing your work.
I thought we nixed that idea. We
What are we
decided that
talking
it
about?
wasn't.
I think I missed
for
that
us.
meeting.
We hired Dan to come in and give
Oh.
us a feasibility. Dan, can you work?
Sounds
in a
like it pays well.
Yeah, can you work in a fiduciary manner? Just take a cut, and
What's
Sure,
whatever
you get
you guys
15?
want.
You get 15% of nothing. It's a great deal.
Sounds
Well,
good.
part of Bob's capital depreciation fund. It's going well.
I wear a lot
That's
of hats.
accounting humor, people.
Oh
Okay.
God, Dan, where can we?
You know more about accounting than I do, I feel like.
Yeah, that's what we're finding out. I thought we brought you on for secrets. We wanted to know financial advice.
Exactly.
I have
That's
no
cartoonist.
financial advice. I am a terrible. No, I'm not. No.
Your LinkedIn is quite impressive, though. I was. That's how I got all stuck into your financial background.
Yeah, you really abandoned
Yeah.
some really nice jobs.
You must have socked. You must have socked a ton of money away. I mean, that's what I'm guessing.
Leave Dan alone.
We're talking. We're talking.
We're talking.
Right. That's not
What
you.
a twat.
Bragging on my LinkedIn. Jeez.
So
Dan-
Tesla, is
Okay.
Tesla a buy now, or do you know in the stock market you never catch a falling knife, my friend.
Now you're telling me.
I'm giving Dan stock advice.
I don't know what to say.
And Dan, are you in New York?
I'm in New Jersey.
You're in New Jersey. Okay.
But
Yeah.
if people want to find you on the internet, what is your website address?
DanMisdea.com.
And that's MISDEA.com.
That's right.
You'll go there and you'll see a lot of hilarity. You'll learn more about Dan. And you're not going to see any financial advice. You've walked away from any sort of sensible advice.
But you know what? If you see Dan merchandise, it's a buy opportunity.
Yeah, those appreciate.
Yeah.
I haven't talked this much about accounting in 3 years.
Is it
Are the
striking-
cartoonists thinking at all about the NFT business of people just who will buy the digital art and then they hold it like it's a stock? It seems like something cartoonists should be into because these people that are selling them are not cartoonists. And I'm like, well, how come artists aren't doing this?
Marty, people are trying. There's a
Are
there's
they?
a lot of cartoonists who contact me saying,
Well, Duffy's doing it. Duffy's trying.
and he hasn't had much success. And other people
Yeah.
have complained the same thing. They say they thought it was going to work out, and it's just not really taking off. I actually
But if
spoke
they-
to Mankoff about this, and he
But if
said,
they sold the cartoon as an NFT, like a cartoon that the New Yorker ran, and people are like, oh, it's a famous card.
Okay,
But if the artist could sell that like it's art, then
Well-
that's worth something.
Okay, how about this, Marty? Probably my most infamous cartoon is my cartoon about nothing, and the blank one.
Yeah.
Okay. That original does not exist. I sent it in as a fax or a scan, and I don't know where the original is. I don't.
But the original doesn't have to exist for an NFT.
But what I'm
because it's
saying-
non-fungible. It's
but
nothing.
what I'm saying, there is no original, so maybe I should turn that into an NFT, since
Yeah,
there
you
was
can.
no original.
I'm gonna have a bunch of Weekly Humorist NFT collections, and we're gonna put that cartoon in
All
the
right, you can
cartoon
have it.
collections for
oh,
NFTs.
good God.
We'll see.
I'm
Now, Bob-
I'm gonna do all the Weekly Humorist covers as NFTs because Time Magazine did that. I'm like, I can do that. I don't care.
No,
see,
I,
Bob thought an NFT was a non-funny tune.
Bob's got tons of those.
and those
Yeah.
that's an ad lib, Michael. You know what? Let me just say, though, I think is a problem, and Dan, please chime in on this. Is it because it's so it's out there? The cartoons are out there, and you can get them in different forms for free. And does that make it the lack of scarcity? Is that the problem with
No.
why there's no value?
No.
I have no idea.
That's not the right answer.
Here's my thought. I think that was very speculative, and it sort of became an NFT bubble and overheated, and now the market is correcting itself. So people are losing vast amounts of money they've invested, And that's going to make people wary of getting into that in the first place as a investment.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, all of a sudden you say something smart.
But has there ever been a market for original cartoon art?
Uh-oh,
The
Bob.
same way that there has been for real
Sure.
art? Like, have there
Definitely.
been cartoon art originals, New Yorker people at like a Sotheby's auction?
Yeah, that's what I used to do. I used to be in those auctions. My originals. And of course, Dan behind his shoulder has a Michael Short original on the wall. Is that what I see? And one of mine, right? You've collected both of us?
Right next to the Keith Haring.
But what happened was those auctions have done worse and worse because, again, I think the market got a little bit flooded. For instance, if I go up to Brimfield at the flea market, I went up there like right before the pandemic, one of the last times before they closed. There was a guy selling a bunch of Bob Webbers. Dan, do you know Bob Weber?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I'm a big fan of his work.
I never did like a deep dive into him, but
you should.
But he's in the big red book, right?
Oh yeah. And Dan, your style is just like his, but totally different. But he was selling. Exactly. They were getting rid of a bunch of his originals at Brimfield. They were going for like $20 a piece.
Oh wow!
And it's
you should have snapped those up.
You should have bought all of those, Bob.
Yes. Come on, Bob.
Who said I didn't?
Did you?
You just did.
I didn't. There was someone else who bought. Someone else bought them, and he was bragging that he got them all for a song, is what they say. That's biz talk, Dan.
Yeah.
When something goes for cheap, that's accounting lingo. But the thing is it seems like the cartoons have gone for less and less, and we hope that reverses. But to me, it's been replaced by superhero animation cells. And a lot of the artwork you see for
a lot of animation
comics.
Cells are out there.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many, any of the 80s and 90s cartoons that were animated were done just by like hand-painted cells. You can buy, because I stupidly started finding them on eBay. I'm like, what? And then you start seeing them on eBay and they're like $12. You could get a Scooby-Doo original hand-painted cell for like $20. And you're like, God, this is art, right?
Oh God.
So then you buy them and you buy a Smurf and you buy a real Ghostbusters. And then you're like, what am I doing with all this shit? Oh, and I have, I got a bunch of Pink Panthers. A bunch of Pink Panther original.
Marty, which Smurf did you buy? Smurfette?
I got a Smurf. I don't know which Smurf. It wasn't Brainy or anybody. It didn't have any accoutrement, but Gargamel was on the cell. So Gargamel and Azrael were both on the cell. So it was a good one.
I'm impressed. That's cool.
Here's a question. Why is it that every radio producer or podcast producer collects these animation cells like Baba Booey and all these other producers always talk about animation cells as investments?
I don't know. Because it's not an investment. It's like, it's someone who collects sneakers. It's just like, it's their own. They think something is important and scarce, and it's like they're never going to sell it.
Have you met Gary Delabonte? Have you hung out with him, with Baba Booey?
Me? No.
Yeah. Let me ask. I just assumed the producers all kind of,
Oh yeah, we all hang out.
All right.
One of my friends is a writer on Stern.
Okay.
It's not a huge. There's lots of. If you're in New York City, there's lots of people that work at the Sirius XM channel. I have some friends who are on the morning show there, and some of the comedians that are on the Raw Dog comedy channel.
Dan's falling asleep.
Michael, save us, please.
I was going to ask Dan to save us.
Dan, do you come into New York City very much from New Jersey?
No, not really. I used to live in the city, and I'm just moving farther and farther away, unfortunately. So.
Where did you live in the city? I'm in Park Slope.
The last place I lived was I was on John Street. Yeah, right near World Trade.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where my office used to be. I was in 110 Wall, is where the Weekly Humorist office was for years.
Weekly Humorist. Marty, do we have any Dan cartoons coming out in Weekly Humorist?
I don't know. What did I get from you recently that I haven't run yet? I ran the EV. I ran the electric car one.
Right. There's at least one I can't remember.
I'll find it.
Yeah,
I'll
let's
run
make
a Dan.
let's
I'll
make
run
a
a Dan
pledge to
cartoon
send-
this week.
I want to see another
Thank you.
Dan cartoon, please.
So
Michael,
we'll put up this podcast, and then to
I
accompany the
hate that.
podcast, we'll have to have a big new Dan cartoon.
Michael, do you have any cartoons of yours coming out anywhere I can look for? Come on.
Oh, as a matter of fact,
Please.
Of course, they're 10 years old, but it's the best of the rejection collection.
Oh, cool.
Look at the size of it. This looks like the owner's manual to your Lexus, Bob. It's like 4 inches square. And it's got 700 pages. It's unbelievable.
And how many pages are of your stuff,
Excuse me?
Dan? You
How
go
many
first.
cartoons?
Oh, I was saying, I've
No.
been meaning to pick that up.
So Dan, you're
I
not
have-
in the rejection collection.
He hasn't
No.
been rejected enough.
He doesn't
yet.
get rejected. All of Dan's cartoons are
Ooh.
selling. So it's only Shaw's cartoons that are put in there. And then Bob's cartoons are not in the rejection collection.
He was rejected.
He
from
got
the rejection.
rejected by the rejection collection,
Ah! Sorry, Bob.
which means they'll be in Weekly Humorist.
I hate to say this, but I'm nestled up next to Carolina. I'm very excited. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cartoons.
6 cartoons.
Well,
Congratulations.
congratulations, Michael.
Thanks, Bob.
And
It's
what-
kind of
were
fun.
were they rejected because of tone? Were they too dirty?
Oh yeah,
Were they
one of my favorites is here's a good one from Teresa Burns, our good friend.
Teresa. She's had
And
some
it
great
just is
cartoons
simply-
recently.
It's a lemonade stand, but it says "fuck lemonade," and it's like a bar.
Okay.
I laughed out loud when I saw that.
It's good.
I have to say that
But that's Teresa's cartoon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Michael, share one of yours.
Show,
and
show
then
one of
we'll-
yours. We wanted to
Let's
see your
wrap
cartoon.
this up
All
with
right.
one of your cartoons.
One of my favorites is
Dan's
he's
got to
like-
go doodle.
Yes, go. He's left. Here's two
Oh.
Tyrannosaurus Rexes, and he's saying
Please don't make it a joke about masturbation and short arms.
almost. I'd give up being the most fearsome creature on the planet if I could just reach my weenie.
Oh, good God.
There you go.
Wasn't that in the old one?
Yes,
I
this
think I remember
is.
seeing that in the old one.
I'm an old one.
Michael's an old one.
Yeah, I am an old
Yeah.
one. Here's my most pithy one that I thought was going to really get me in trouble.
I like
So-
this.
Here's the
Yes. Yeah.
black gentleman running away, and the officer of in pursuit says, "Stop, and I'll shoot." Ooh,
Makes you think, doesn't it?
makes you think, doesn't it?
But that seems like a cartoon that would run someplace, and it would be
Well-
like very thought provoking. Did it not go anywhere?
It's interesting because I have my own theories about when they were doing this. You would send in cartoons specifically to get rejected
Okay.
because
Right.
there's a lot of f-bombs in here, and there's a lot of nudity. There's a lot of sexual activity.
Oh, geez.
So yeah, that's what she said.
But where did
So-
that cartoon get rejected from? Did it get rejected from anywhere?
Oh yeah,
Did you
everyone I
submit
said
it?
yes. I made
So
a
was that
point-
rejected by the New Yorker?
Yes.
Huh. That's
Ev-
a good one though.
Well, lots of stuff gets rejected. The most interesting part of the book is there's a foreword with Emma Allen, and she talks about how there are twice as many regular contributors to the New Yorker now than when the rejection collection first started.
Hmm.
So it's far easier to get rejected now for, just by sheer numbers.
Don't I know it?
Don't you know it, man?
Well,
So congratulations, Dan. You broke through.
Thank you. I appreciate
Hey,
it.
Dan, listen, you're in the book business now. You and I are comrades in publishing. Maybe you and me should do a book on Rejected from the Rejection Collection.
It'll just be our cartoons.
It would be just our cartoons. Of course, my name should be on top. I've been in the business a little longer than you, but we could always negotiate that.
That's fair.
Stop
No,
trying to
I-
ride Dan's coattails, Bob.
I know.
Let's take this off air. Monday morning, I'm doing a little brunch. We'll hit a couple of golf balls. Let's bring this back around
We'll
later.
talk about
We'll just put a pin on this, as they say in accounting lingo.
Yeah, circle back.
But I want to thank you for coming on.
Oh, yeah.
And putting up with us. And
I'm so sorry this had to be your first podcast.
This might be your last.
And
right?
just one of your cartoons just popped up on the Twitter for Weekly Humorist, because that's like sometimes it's automated where it goes through old posts and it reposts old posts. And one of your best cartoons, at least on Weekly Humorist, popularity wise, was the travel agent with people getting ready to leave after being in quarantine so long, and the travel agent is saying anywhere is very popular right now.
That's very good.
That just popped up on the Twitter and stuff. And I remember when we put that up on the Instagram, hold that
back up, Marty. Can I see it, please?
Sure. Everybody listening, you have to wait quietly and patiently as I show a picture.
Now, tell me that's not an Eckstein palm tree.
It's not an Eckstein.
It's not, but Dan, I like his.
I do my palm trees. I like Mick Stevens palm trees, so I do kind of go for.
Okay. See, I knew it was someone's. I knew it was an homage to someone.
Yeah, Nick, you're very economical. What you put in, there's not much waste. That's one of the things I like about your clean style. It really is nice.
Thank you.
But you know what? We've kept you on for over an hour, so let's all wrap up. Say what you want before we go. Everyone get a chance to sign off. Michael, what's a good word from you?
Durian,
all right, good. Marty?
Durian mung bean buns. Try them.
Great show.
Thank you.
Great.
Okay,
Thank
Marty.
you, Dan. Everybody, make sure you check out Dan's book. What's it called? The pumpkin book?
The light inside.
The Light Inside. That's a great title. I only said that because I have an announcement to make, which is if anybody has a museum story, I've been working on a museum book. That includes you, Dan. If you have a good story, I'm putting together a book on museums. And you can please email me at snowmanexpert@gmail.com. Marty, you have any announcements for the Weekly Humorist? Anything coming up that we should all know?
I have no community announcements. Our next community meeting the minutes will be read at a later date, and we can talk about, the new trash pickup schedule. It's going to be great.
Michael, what's the last update on the Dorian fruit? Can you finish it, or is it getting trashed?
I think
it's pretty bad, right?
I think I'm going to wrap it in a pamper.
Okay. On that note, thank you everyone for listening and putting up with us at the Cartoon Pad. Until next time.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
So let it be drawn. Thanks a lot, Dan.
Bye, Bob. Bye, Marty.
Bye, all.
Say
All right.